Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. All right, hurricane is bearing down and tearing up Florida, having already just really decimated Cuba and other places. And I want to take a moment for all of us to recognize, if you're watching this contemporaneously, about this terrible storm and how many people have been affected. Now this week, if you're keeping track of my video thoughts for the day, is a week where I'm talking about famous sayings or adages or slogans even, and talking about whether or not those are biblical or how they reflect biblical principles. And today, in honor or in memory or in encouragement of those in Florida, I've got one symbolized by the FedEx plane that's behind me here. And it's a saying that nobody knows quite where it originated. Some people think it was President Kennedy's father. Some people think it was the famous football coach Newt Rockne from Notre Dame. But the saying is this: when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Now, that seems appropriate to talk about in light of the hurricane, because Florida, at least parts of it, have been under an evacuation order, or if not order, at least urging for people to get out of the way of the hurricane. And that, by the way, is a thoroughly acceptable thing to do. From a biblical perspective, you never want to just say, hey, God's going to take care of me so I can act blind or act immune to whatever there is out there. I mean, yes, God takes care of us, but that doesn't mean we don't wear a seatbelt. That doesn't mean we don't lock our doors. That doesn't mean we don't live wisely. Of course we do. But by the same token, there's still element of the fact that God does protect his people. And some people are going to rest confident in that, and they're going to stay there, or they need to stay there for their home, or they need to stay there for even health reasons. And I want to talk about that for a moment, because I do think that there's room for people to rest in the security of God. Now, recognizing that all of that's true for the hurricane that's coming right now, let me also add that this is true even for those of us not in the path of the hurricane. The storms of life, not just a metaphor that comes offhandedly, it's a well-known metaphor, because all of us experience storms in this life, where the dark rain clouds gather, where the winds whip us apart, where we run for cover or shelter and don't know what to do. And during those times, the question becomes, do we just flee, or do we stand firm? And the answer, of course, is just like the hurricane. It's dictated by the circumstances and each individual need at each individual time. But having said that, the Psalms talk about God being a refuge in times of trouble, in a sense, the port in the time of a storm. And it's not that we avoid all crisis. God's people will walk through storms and crisis. It's that we come to God and we find the wherewithal, we find the strength to endure, and we find the wisdom and direction to make it through. So I think as we look at this, I'm reminded of not just the saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, but I'm also reminded of the Lord is my strength and my portion. And so we are able to stand with God and know that he supports us in the storm, but we're also recognizing that there's a time where God says, hey, get on the next FedEx plane out of here, leave, because that's the greater wisdom in times. So I don't know where you are in life. I don't know what storms you've got. I don't know where the hurricane is, but I know that God loves you right now. I know that God is with you. He will not depart from you. And if you're not walking with God, it's not because he left you, it's because you've left him. So know that our prayers are with you. If there's anything that you can do for someone else going through a storm of any kind, do it. And let's do it in the name of God with his love. That's your video thought for the day. I'll see you again tomorrow.